Hello again, Internet. This is the Bagel. Today I'm finally going to show you how to fold my origami Tetris. Each of these is folded from a 6x6 grid. Some of these are folded from 2 sheets of paper, the 2 S's, the square, and the T. But the 2 L's and the I are just folded from a single sheet. But regardless, if you can't fold thirds, this probably isn't a good model for you. But anyway, I'm impatient, so let's just jump into it. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start out with this I tetromino. It's the simplest, and I'm going to gradually ramp up just how difficult each piece is. For this, you're going to need one light blue sheet of kami if you want to be accurate to the typical coloring of the I tetromino. If you're going to fold all the pieces, you're going to also need an orange and dark blue for the L's, 2 red and 2 green for the S tetrominoes, 2 yellow for the square tetromino, and then 2 purple for the T tetromino. I'm going to show you how to fold a 6x6 grid once, and then I'm just going to let you figure out how to do it the rest of the time. You can just replay what I do. What is on this paper? Oh, there's something under. Okay, but anyway, what you want to do is start folding into thirds in one direction. Dog hair. So yeah, you just make an S in the paper, and then you just fiddle with the folds until it lines up. There's plenty of tutorials out there for how to make thirds. Joe Nakashima has this cool trick where he actually uses a shit notebook paper to help make thirds and fifths and just whatever division you want. So you can find that if you need help. So then you're gonna fold on the pinch marks. Bring this edge up to that crease. And now we have thirds, at least close to it. Now what I like to do is, instead of dividing it again in the other direction, I like to take one of the corners, bring it up to the crease, and just make a pinch mark right over here. Just pinch it just a little bit, just enough so you can see where that crease would hit the edge of the paper. And then you want to bring this edge to that pinch mark, right where it meets the edge of the paper. And then you just crease right across, and that gives you thirds. And I do realize that the paper's now bent up, but it won't really matter in the final product. And then bring this up to that crease. Just like that. Alright, now we have a 3x3 grid. Now we just need to fold each of these sections in half to make a 6x6 grid. They can all be valleys with the white side up. Doesn't really matter. So crease that section in half. Then we've got this middle section to crease in half. There we go. Now we've got this end to fold in half. And now we do it again in the other direction. Fold it completely in half. This last section. Alright, there we go. And now you can see we have a 6x6 grid. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take one row and we're going to just tear it off the grid. Now you can just fold it off if you want. It'll complicate things. I just prefer to rip it off. This definitely isn't purist origami. So if you're not interested in ripping paper, then you probably shouldn't fold this. Alright, and then I like to fold back on the crease. And then just going to pull the paper apart like that. Alright, so the way you want to hold it is to where the bottom is 5 units wide and then it's 6 units tall. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold up the bottom unit, then we're going to fold down the top unit. And then you're going to rotate the paper. And you're going to just fold on each of these 4 creases, just one at a time. So just fold across. We're basically just trying to fold it with this extra added couple of layers, or I guess just one layer just in 2 different spots. We're just trying to shape the paper up for whenever we connect everything together. I had a little bit of a glitch there. There we go. And there we go. So now we've got something that should kind of look like this. So now what you want to do is you want to just wrap it all together, just putting one edge on top of the other. Just kind of bring it around till it's a square. And as you can see, we're basically done. We just need to lock it together. So now if you just pick a side, you see we have these 2 little pockets that we can tuck in these corners into. So if you just take one corner and tuck it into the pocket, just in between the layers, then we can go to the bottom and we can just kind of pull it. The bottom is a little bit harder to do, but if you just kind of like wiggle the paper in there and then just kind of push the edges together, you'll see that we now have this kind of tube. And that is the tetromino. Focus. This is the tetromino. I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to the camera, obviously. Alright, so there's one down. Now I'm going to go over the tetrominoes. Same folding process for both. I'll see you whenever I have a 6x6 grid. Alright, so we have the 6x6 grid. And again, we're making the tetromino. I'm going to make the dark blue one, but it's the exact same folding process for this orange one. So again, this is only one sheet of paper, and once again you want to take off a row to just kind of make the folding easier. You can just fold it over again, but I recommend just going ahead and ripping it off. There we go. So once you've done that, once again, you want to hold it to where the bottom is 5 units wide and the height is 6 units. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold up the bottom row, but we're going to leave it to where the top is still unfolded. So now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it 180 degrees, and we're going to fold this point not to this point, but one unit behind that. So to the intersection of this crease and this edge. So we're going to just take it, and don't fold, we're just going to pinch. Just take it and fold it to the intersection of this crease and this edge. What we're going to do, I'll move it out a little bit for you, is we're going to count from the left 1 triangle, then a diamond, 2 triangle, and a diamond, and now the third one is where we're going to just pinch, but only to complete this little triangle right here. So you can see we've got this triangle that I've pinched, but we don't need anything else folded. And then you can just unfold that. So that's what it should look like. And now do it with the other corner. So we're going to bring that to that point, but now we're going to count from the right the third triangle. So we've got one triangle here in this diamond, second triangle, this diamond, and here's the third triangle right here. So you can see we get the pinch made. Then you unfold it, and it should look a little bit like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold just on these pinch marks. And the way that it should start collapsing is we should get a mountain fold here. So you can go ahead and just pinch that a little bit, and we should get valley folds here and here. So just by folding on these pinches, we already get a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. Okay, here comes the tricky step. We're going to kind of pinch this to where it's a mountain fold, because we are going to want it to come back around. You can see whenever we pinch this, we're going to just fold on this vertical crease. Focus. Fold on this vertical crease right here, along with making that mountain fold. And then whenever we do all this, we're just going to fold on this crease just to complete that the shape that we want. So then you've got half of it right here. I'm going to go through that again real quick with the other side. So once you get one side, you just want to kind of unfold it and then do the other side. So again, we're going to fold on the pinch, which should make a mountain fold here, a valley fold there. We're going to fold this in, swing that closed. We're going to fold it in, and then it's going to naturally bring that down, just like that. So it should look like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold both of them at once, which obviously it won't close just yet, but you'll see what we're going to do is whenever we close one of them, we have a little pocket here, and then the other one is just going to stick this point into the other's pocket. So once we've made two of them, just pick one of them to stick inside the other's pocket, just like that, and then you just kind of force it closed. You can put your finger on the inside just to kind of like pull it across, just to make it to where it slides in as far as it can go. So now all we have to do is we've got this end down here. What we're going to do is we're going to pull, because we got this same situation that we had with the I tetromino. What we're going to do is we're just going to open up this flap. We're going to stick this other flap into that pocket, so kind of like that, and then you can just push it together. You might have to unfold this a little bit. It just depends on how much the paper wants to cooperate with you. But yeah, there we go. I want to do something like that. And it should, for the most part, be shaped up the way it should be. You can see we got this one little edge here on one side, and then the other one doesn't. So you can adjust which edge you want it to be based on how you want to orient the tetromino. But yeah, so that's the L tetromino. Same thing goes for the orange one. You're just going to do the exact same thing. So now we're going to make the S tetromino. And everything that we do with the S tetromino also applies to the square, same pieces and everything. We're just going to have these two pieces, which are just modified versions of the L tetromino. So you're going to need 2 red sheets, 2 green sheets, and 2 yellow sheets if you want to make the 2 S's and the square. But I'm just going to show you the red S, and then I'm going to show you how to put together the pieces like you would for the square. So, again, make your 6x6 grids, and I'll meet you at that point. Alright, so now you should have 2 6x6 grids. I recommend they're both the same color, that way they go together. What we're going to do is, for both of these, we're actually going to not only take off 1 row, but we're actually going to modify it to where it's a 5x5 grid. And you might be wondering why I didn't just tell you to make a 5x5 grid from the start, besides the fact that it wouldn't be the same proportionately with these, so you can stack them, and that is, it's just easier to make a 6x6 than a 5x5. Trust me when I say that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off 1 row. Just like this, just like we've been doing. And then we're going to go to the other side. So this is 6 long, so we want it to be 5. So we're going to take this and we're going to cut it down to where that's only 5. And the same thing on this one. You're going to have plenty of scrap paper after this if you've been actually separating the units from the paper instead of just folding it over. Which really, this is where it would start getting complicated. Alright, so we've got 2 different units we're going to make. I'm going to start out with making this, which is just the it's just the normal unit, or not the normal unit, the normal this, only we're going to have 1 less square. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up, and we're still going to bring this point down, but this time it's going to be to where this crease right here intersects the edge. And again, we're going to count the third triangle, 1, 2, third triangle from the left. We're going to unfold, do the same thing on the other side, but this time, third triangle from the right. So there you go. Now what we're going to do is the exact same thing we just did with the L tetromino. So we're just going to fold down on these 2 creases. We're going to make sure that we have some mountains starting and these 2 valleys. We're going to bring the flap, this little side flap up, and then fold in this little thing. Just like that. And now we're going to unfold that and do the same thing on this side. And now that we've got both of those, we want to do it together. Once again, you want to fold one and then tuck one of these flaps into the pocket. Just like that. So, we're going to do the same thing that we did on the L tetromino, where we've got this little pocket So we've got this flap to tuck into. So just like that. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but you'll wiggle it in there eventually. There we go. And don't worry if it doesn't hold together. We'll take care of that later, whenever we attach the two pieces. Alright, so we've got that. Now grab your other grid. And on this one you're going to fold up the bottom. And you're also going to fold down the top. So what we're going to do, well actually you can keep the top unfolded just to fold these diagonal creases. So we're going to do the same creases we did earlier. Alright, here we go. So you got these same creases. So now we're going to fold this down. And once again, we're going to fold on the diagonal creases. This is the same process we've been doing. We're just going to have less sticking up. So fold them both down. You can swing one up, and then this flap goes back. Unfold that, and then do the same thing over here. And then we can do both together. Now the way these lock together is a little bit different. What we're going to do is we've got this little flap right here. We're going to make this go around one flap just like that. Just like that. So again, we're just putting this flap in this pocket, and then we're also putting this little V into this pocket. So it's just kind of like two flaps going into two pockets at the same time. And then once again, we've got this little pocket right here at the bottom. We just want to stick the flap in there like we've been doing. Alright, so now we got to put it together. So find whatever end is the one that doesn't have the lock on it. So it's this one. What we're going to do is we're going to position the pieces like this to where the open slot is facing this, and we're just going to kind of take this and just tuck it inside of that little pocket, and then just push it in. And there you go, you've got the S tetromino. Now to make the square, you're going to make the exact same pieces with the yellow, only this time, instead of positioning the pieces like this, you're just going to do the pieces like that. And then you'll have the square. So now on to the T, which is the hardest out of all of them. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to make this section of the T tetromino, because the other piece that you need to make is just this piece that we made with the S tetromino and the square tetromino. So I've already got one folded, and I'm just going to show you the part that this piece will go into to complete the T tetromino. So you can go ahead and go back in the video and make another one of these just with purple paper if you want, or you can go ahead and fold this with me right now. So what we're going to need for this is a 5x5 grid. So I'm going to take one row off the bottom and one row off the side. Alright, and now this is 6 long, so I need to remove one unit from that. Alright, and now the diagonal creases we're going to need are just these little V's that you can see right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this point and bring it up to the intersection of creases right before the actual point of the square. So it's going to fold right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this point to the, I guess it's going to be not that point, not the one, the intersection before it, but the one before that. So basically, it's just going to be this little triangle right here. So you get something like that. And again, you just want to pinch, you don't want to actually make folds. And then we're going to do something similar over here. So now I'm going to bring this point up to that crease, and we're going to fold right here. Just like that. Now we're going to fold this point up to the second last intersection. Just like that. And then you're just going to repeat all of this on the other side. So. Alright, so now after you get all of these V shapes in the paper, what we're going to do is we're going to fold down on this unit, so just a valley fold right there, and then we're also going to fold on both of these diagonal creases at the same time, just on one side for now, and then once you get one started, you just kind of fold the other one on top. You can see that we get something that looks a little bit like that. So now what you want to do is you want to do the same thing on the other side, so rotate it around. And we're going to bring this down while folding on these diagonal creases. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Just like that. Alright, so now we should have something that looks kind of like this. We're just going to pull up these little flaps on the side. Just like this. They just fold straight up. Now from here, we've got these little flaps that we can unfold. Just like this. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. So it's kind of a great big mess right now, but once you get them all unfolded, it'll kind of settle down a little bit. There we go. So now what we gotta do is, all we need to do now is connect these flaps. So you see we got this little pocket. So we just connect one of the flaps into the other's pocket. So it should look something just like this. And now, same thing on the other side. Sometimes it's hard to do both sides at once, but if you just kind of work with the paper a little bit, that'll be fine. And then connect it all together, and there we go. And then you can kind of shape up the paper just a little bit. It doesn't look very good from the top, but from the side, it's pretty nice and clean. I guess that's the main thing. And then all you have to do is take that other unit, and I like to make it to where the little side opening is the end that goes in. That way it looks more consistent, and you just kind of wiggle that into the middle, just like this. Stuff it in there, and then you can readjust the flaps, just trying to make sure everything closes up as much as it can. And there you go. That is the tetromino. So now you can make all of the tetrominoes you've ever dreamed of making. Again, I try to teach them easiest to hardest, so I hope you were able to fold it. I don't know where my green one is. But yeah, so next time I'll probably teach a more aquatic model. That's the hint you get. But till then, I hope you were able to fold this, and I'll be back shortly with a whale tutorial. So yeah, till then, see ya.